Hello, everyone, and welcome to the MNSpiritCast special bonus episode of Season 2. It is 12 o'clock p.m. noon Central Time here, and we have a very special show for you tonight. We have a really amazing guest. Basically, John Yost is a paranormal filmmaker and a bunch of other things. And today, we're going to be doing something very special. We're going to be promoting his new movie. We're going to show the trailer for you guys. So, first of all, let's go ahead and bring everybody on. Here is Cara and Brandon.
Hello, guys.
Hello. And Mr. Matt Barron, the paranormal consultant. So,
what's up, guys?
Not much, man. Just excited for the show today, John. We couldn't be more happy to have you on here. Thank you so much.
Oh, I'm very pleased to be with all of you. Thank you.
Absolutely, and it's absolutely an honor. So, to start off the show, we'll kind of give you a brief bio of John. John, do you mind if we read off your bio?
Go right ahead, sir.
All right. So, basically, John's prestigious career began under the, sorry, I don't want to butcher this word.
Jurisprudence.
Jurisprudence, thank you.
Yes,
of the U.S. Treasury Department. During that process, he attained the U.S. Customs broker license and occasionally was a paid consultant to the FBI in the international trade matters. After 10 successful years, the work lost its appeal. He left his position and sought another opportunity and childhood dream that would equally challenge him, filmmaking. Within 4 years, John had successfully earned an invitation to every national arts organization, the SAG, Screen Actors Guild, the AFTRA, the American Federation of Television and Radio Arts, and the AEA, Actors Equity Association, and AGMA, American Guild of Musical Artists. John eventually joined the team of RYNO Production and began the foundation work that would eventually become RYNO Pictures. In addition to the hundreds of projects that he written and directed, he's also produced several films, Alien Abduction Answers, in his Watershed project, where he finally was able to tell the true story of what happened to him as a child. And that is absolutely an amazing bio. And today, that's what we're doing. We're promoting Alien Abduction Answers. Now, to kind of start off the show, you kind of want to give a brief description of this movie?
Sure. Brief, right?
Yes. No.
Alien Abduction Answers.
You can. Whatever description you want.
It's okay. Alien Abduction Answers is it's a one-of-a-kind film. You've never seen anything quite like this. I mean, most UFO documentaries that you good people have seen before have been chock full of information and statistics, and it's usually a third-person kind of observation. From your point of view, you're watching everything happening. In Alien Abduction Answers, we literally take you inside. So you see it from a first-person point of view. You experience the same sort of fear that I experienced, and many people have. The discovery, the revelation, and eventually, and I know this is going to sound strange, the salvation that you find at the end of this rabbit hole. There are things that you're going to hear and see that you've never seen before. And this is, it basically is the story, it's a mistake. This film should have never happened. It was a catharsis for me. And we can get into that maybe after the trailer, but it was catharsis for me that I started to film, and then my company got behind me and we ended up making a film. But it was really about me trying to cope with something that had happened to me as a 7-year-old boy.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's, I mean, without getting into all the nitty-gritty, that's basically what the film's about.
Right. So basically this film is so you're kind of summing up some answers for
yes,
that happened to you as a child and what persists and continues to happen to others to date.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Awesome.
Well, I'm intrigued.
Yes. So actually, the movie is premiering in May, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So definitely going to be a good one to watch for sure. So if you're all right with it, I'd like to go ahead and show everybody the trailer because I want to jump right in.
Please, Marcus, go right ahead.
Absolutely. All right. So gonna be just a second here. Gonna share my screen here. All right. Can you guys see it?
Yes.
Yep.
All right. So see if there we go.
This is not communication. It's communion. Hundreds of thousands of people have claimed contact. That will change you. It changed me. Lost in between two worlds and two dreams.
This was something that I kept buried for years. Strange things would happen. I didn't want anything to do with it anymore.
He came at me, and I fought for my life.
Ships started to pop up in the sky.
And there's this bizarre disk of light. It is moving across the sky very fast.
The experience is often very terrifying.
If I felt fear, I would crawl under my covers, hoping that it would go away, whatever it was.
I know that we were put in that craft. I knew I was going to go to another planet.
And the being was right next to my face.
He saw two shadow beings. That's when I felt like I was going to die.
I had a real encounter with something. Even if I had to live with the fear, is to know the truth. Is to know.
Absolutely phenomenal.
Yep.
That is amazing.
Well, I want to watch it.
Great trailer. Great trailer. So you said this movie wasn't supposed to happen. Now with all this happening, is there a spot where you're comfortable sharing your story, or is
Sure. I mean, I'll answer any question you have. Sure. But you said brief.
yeah, so like at some point within telling your story about what happened,
Sure.
is there a spot where you just don't even want to think about it, or you want to get it out there and kind of relate to what other people are experiencing like
Sure.
today?
Sure. Both of those, that's a great question, Marcus. Both of those are true. First of all, let me say this. This all started when I was 7 years old.
Mm-hmm.
I was a boy in 1974, in August. I woke up to hear this kind of droning noise. Like this sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it woke me up and cleared my eyes, looked around my room, and had this urge to go to the restroom. So I went to the restroom. And I was washing my hands, I poured the water, and I walked outside the door. And when I opened that door, facing me in the hallway was an entity, a man, a creature, something. Something was there. And to my little boy eyes, I recognized a character from a Japanese television show called Ultraman. And he was a silver guy with these big eyes. And to my mind, this is what I'm looking at. And at this moment, I don't have fear. But then we got very, very close. And remember, my back is to the bathroom door, right? I mean, I'm halfway in the restroom. And his back is to these hardwood stairs that went straight down to the first floor. But we get very, very, very close, almost nose to nose. And I started to feel myself being drawn in. And I was petrified. I have to tell you something, because that lack of control is the thing that really, it almost feels like the floor drops out from underneath you,
Wow.
And at that point, there was this great flash of light. And then it was like a kaleidoscope. It was almost like I was on this Ferris wheel and it was going too fast. You know what I mean? And then I didn't know, I felt like I was moving, but I couldn't tell. And it all happened very fast. And then when I kind of realized what was happening, I was standing back where I was, but my back was to the stairs and his back was to the bathroom door. And he reached out for me. I say he, but I don't know,
Right.
He reached out to me with his right hand, and he touched me on my left shoulder. And I felt this tremendous power, this tremendous energy, and it threw me back. And I fell down the hardwood stairs. Ooh. Now, my dad was a mill worker, right? So he'd worked double shifts and this sort of thing. And he had just come home a couple of hours prior. And so he comes bounding out of his room with my mother on the first floor. And they hear their son. I'm 7, right? I'm screaming. And he's, what the hell happened? I said, there's an Ultraman in my room. And I guess he heard man, right? So he runs upstairs. He's a big guy. He ran upstairs. He's opening the doors and slamming things. He can't find anything. He comes to the top of the stairs, and I'm crying. My mother's trying to, calm me.
Yeah.
And he, he looks with some kind of disappointment, disgust, I guess, and also he's pissed off. He got woken up, right? So, he says, there's nothing up here. So they kick me upstairs, and they do what parents do. They look, nothing in the closet, that sort of thing. Put me to bed. And so it's August, right?
Yep.
The next day, I'm out playing with my friends. And my mother calls me in for dinner. And she says, we're going to get a bath before dinner. And I'm 7. I don't want to take a bath, right?
Yeah, right.
So she takes my T-shirt off and she sees my shoulder. And she says, honey, what happened here? And I said, Mom, I told you that, Ultraman was in my room. And I'm looking around for my dad. I don't want him to scream at me.
Right.
And so she looked a little off-put by that. But then she said, oh, okay, well, no problem. We'll just take care of this. No problem. But I knew something was up because a couple of days later, my father was taking me to the doctor. And as we pull into the driveway of the doctor, the parking lot, he says, now listen, I don't want to hear any more of this Ultraman bullshit. We go in here, you don't say a damn word. And, I loved my dad. I was the eldest of 6. I would have done anything for him.
Right.
And so I said, okay, Dad, And so the doctor checks me over. Everything's fine. He checks my shoulder. And he looks at me and he says, hey, sport, what happened here? I could see my dad in the corner. And he was giving me, the eye.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Don't cross Dad. And
right.
So I just said, I don't know. I was just playing. And anyway, gave me a lollipop, I think, and I walked out the door and I heard them talking about heat, extreme heat. We're driving back from the doctor's appointment, and my father said to me, now listen, I'm going to tell you something. I don't want to hear any more about this bullshit about Ultraman. I don't want to hear any. I don't want you to scare your mother. I don't want you to scare your sisters. You keep that shit to yourself. And so what happened was I lied about it. People would ask me about it, and I'd go on my life and I'd say anything. Anything was better than number one when I was a kid to piss my father off because I was scared to death of him.
Well,
but the second thing was, how do you tell somebody, you're applying for a job? By the way, I was abducted. You know, that doesn't really come off well. This is kind of a corny joke I tell everybody in every one of these conversations. It's not a real resume builder. So, so I lied about it. And what had happened was when I got involved in film and television, we've done projects all around the world. We had, we're kind of like, I use the term guns for hire. You know, a big company will come in and they'll need a crew, or they'll need, you know, and so we'll go in with cameras and editors and everything. You know, Fox will come in or Esquire will come in and we'll do the job for them. But several years ago, we started to do our own work. And I was looking for jobs for our company to do, RYNO Pictures. I work for a company called RYNO Production. It's been around for 38 years. It's a big production company up here in Pittsburgh. And about 5 years ago, we created RYNO Pictures to handle film and television pieces. And so, once again, you know, I have a normal life. Nothing weird, nothing strange. And we got hired to do a project out in the desert in California. And we were wrapping up the project, and we were dumping all the footage onto hard drives. And as we were, we walked outside to have a drink. Me and one of the camera guys. And we're talking, and there's a bunch of people, like 12 or 15 people with us. And we go to make a toast, and I see this glint in the glass. And my mind says, oh, well, that must be the moon, right? But then I realized it was completely black outside. It was a new moon. There was no moon. So I bring my glass down, and as I do, I see over my shoulder this thing that was as big as a Volkswagen. And it was about 30, 40 feet away in the sky. And any one of you could have hit it with a baseball. You could have thrown it. And it was really big. It was really big. And it was kind of a blue-green luminous. It had its own luminosity. And my mind is reeling. You know, you try to make sense of this stuff when you see it, right? My mind says to me, that's a Mylar balloon. That's a Mylar balloon. And I'm thinking, no, that's not a Mylar balloon. Well, cameraman is with me, our camera one, Scotty, and I grab him and I'm telling him, and he looks, and oh my God, it was incredible to see this thing. Just then, the 12, 15 people that we were with, they all see it. And they're saying, oh my God, and look, and whatever. This thing moves so fast, like in zigzag, right above my head, and it stops. And then it zooms over here, about 10 feet away, and stops. And then it just drifts off into the desert.
Oh my God.
Man, you could have pushed me over with a feather. But then something happened. All of that pent up fear and dread and lying, all that poison that comes from lying, came into me like a whirlwind. And I felt that feeling again of the floor dropping out from underneath me.
Oh, wow.
And so, you know, I kept my shit together, right? But when I got back to the room, I was not okay. I was not okay. And I'm an old guy now. You know, I'm 55 years old. This is not cool to break down like this, right? So, anyway, it started to it really bothered me. It really, really bothered me. And so I started to do this research. I started to get involved with this stuff. I wanted to find out about it because up to this point, I had no idea. People mentioned CE5 and all. I didn't know any of this stuff. And there were two really, really, really great people. One was a lady from Florida, and one was from a gentleman from the UK. And they kind of sensed that, my interest was not just academic, right? That there was something going on with me personally. Yeah. And eventually, at one point, they kind of confronted me. And man, when I finally admitted that after all those years of lying to everybody, I am not a good-looking man. I am a gross crier. It was disgusting. I am an ugly, ugly crier. So
Yeah, you had all this built up inside.
Sure,
You wasn't
sure.
able to let anything out. And when it finally came out big,
Yeah.
a lot of weight was dropped it off of your shoulders.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Makes
sir.
sense.
Yeah. So then I became driven to find out what was going on, right? So then during this investigation, I would find groups of people that had experiences that would get together to talk about it, and then I was amazed by these individuals that their stories were similar but different. Everybody kind of has this idea that you get this stereotypical little guy who's a gray, and that's not the truth. That's not the truth at all. And then also these people had somehow dealt with it and found positive aspects to it too. And there were some people who were still participating with it, and it blew my mind. I mean, honestly, for somebody who had lied all their life, I could not believe it. So after I got involved with them and I started to, videotape and catalog those stories and that sort of thing, the thing that started to bug me personally, and this is why I say this was all kind of an accident. It was really for me. It was like therapy for me, right?
Yeah.
There was this piece I told you guys about at the top of the stairs, where all these lights happened, and then when I kind of came back to, my back was to the stairs.
Yeah.
I thought to myself, well, wait a minute. This isn't a dream sequence where, somebody is paralyzed in a bed and they have that, and, they say it's sleep paralysis. No, I mean, this was a waking thing. I was in the restroom. I came out. I had to go to the doctors, for God's sake. It was a real thing. But I couldn't remember that. And I didn't understand. I mean, something obviously had to happen, right? So in this group of people who I fell in love with because they're so brave and so nice and wonderful, I met this woman named Deb Shakti. And Deb Shakti is a quantum hypnotherapist. She's been in the business for many decades, 30 years, something like this. She's helped people around the world. And what she does is she can recover memories that you might have forgotten. And it's funny because I've heard a lot of criticism, did a lot of research about this too. And think about this, you're in a terrible accident, right? And the shock and the trauma, you can't remember anything. It happened all so fast. I couldn't see this. Okay. But the truth of the matter is that your mind and your eyes, they picked up everything. You just can't access it. It's like having a file. It's like having a video file you can't find in Messenger, right, Marcus?
Yeah.
So, but it's there. But it's there, right? And so, what these people do is they allow you to relax and really go through that catalog and find that mess, because then you can see that person behind the wheel. You can read that license plate. You saw it all. Okay? Well, quantum hypnosis is that everything is connected. Okay, we're all made of the same star stuff. We all came from some exploded star. The molecules in my body and atoms in my body are the same ones in your body, whatever. And so the idea is that not only can you see things from one perspective, but literally you can be lifted out of your line of sight and placed somewhere else, and you can watch the other side. So in this particular case, we're talking about a car accident. You can see the little ball that rolled across or the little animal, and so somebody stopped, to miss that and accidentally hit you and this sort of thing. But you can see it from every perspective. And so she helped me. And in the movie, there's the actual session. And so you live this fear with me all the way through the film. And then when I'm saying to her, I need to know. That's what I'm talking about. I need to know about that. So you witness this thing, and it's a little hard to watch, but you witness it and you see me on the other side too. And we explain what happened during that time. Now I know what happened, where I went, who was there, and it will surprise you. Yeah, I'm going to tell you something right now. You are not going to expect the answer at the end of this rabbit hole. Yeah.
Wow. So,
So the movie, oh,
no, go right ahead.
so the movie is about your experience during that time frame that you can't remember.
Well, it
Couldn't-
starts off. Yeah, I'm sorry to interrupt you. I apologize, Kara. It starts off with me, like having a flashback, and then on this quest to find out what's going on. So you live through this process of me doing the research prior, and then you live through the process of me going under and trying to find out that piece. And then on the other side, you come with me and you find out the lessons that I've learned and the lessons these other people have been able to teach me. So it's almost like you've been with me the entire time.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It is.
And so for people, what I'm hoping, to be honest with you, is I'm sorry, let me say it this way. As I mentioned earlier, other films, they're kind of an arm's distance, right? You're watching it, and 1945. This, okay. Well, this is real life, and it's today. Okay. So first of all, it's right this second. Second of all, the people that you see on camera are not people in black and white. They're in full color, and they're not people who are crazy. No, they're college educated. They're mothers, they're fathers, they're designers, they're accountants, they're artists. They're somebody that you know. They're your uncle. They're your brother.
Yep.
These people are us.
Yeah.
Okay? They're you. So when people watch this film, one of the things that blows them away is they see themselves, their personality type on screen, if you will.
Yes.
Right? And they say, like, I could be that person. The next thing that I think is so important is that it is visceral. It's almost like I don't want to say a first person player game, but you walk the same path with me. All the fear that I have, you'll probably have at the same time. The things that I find out will be surprising to you too. And then the end, where we end up, is going to be a place that you cannot believe. You cannot believe, because something is about to happen that's literally going to change everything.
Wow.
And we all think that we have a grasp on that. But the truth of the matter is, we have no grasp on it. It's going to change everybody's life on this planet. Everybody's. Yeah. So that's what the movie's about. Did I get your attention?
Absolutely.
A little bit.
I'm kind of over here in awe. Like everything is it makes you want to actually really see the movie with what you've explained.
I hope. I hope that it does two things. I hope that, number one, it prepares people. I also hope that it assures people, because most people, even people, and please forgive me, this is not an insult to anybody. Okay, most people live. I love this. People talk about my truth. I'm living my truth. I'm an old guy. So back in my day, if you said you had a truth, it was an opinion that nobody else shared. It was just, right. Mm-hmm. But I'm an old guy. So when people talk about my truth, is there a sky? Yes. It's really not up for opinion. Okay. As much as we would like to push against it or fight against it or say, I'm going to live in a high rise, there's still a sky. You could live underground, there's still a sky. Okay. These things are occurring regardless of what people think, regardless of what people believe. And they say, well, it doesn't touch my life. I'm a stockbroker. It's about to. It's about to. And so I hope that it prepares people. But the second thing is this. I hope that it, out of this fear and ignorance, I hope that it gives people some tools that allow them to deal with it. To understand that they do, in fact, have a choice. There's a real opportunity here for growth. There's a real opportunity because everything, I mean, all of us have struggled with something, finances, school, sports, something. Okay, well, this would be like the biggest challenge in your life. If you're up to it, you're going to come out on the other side so much better.
Mm-hmm.
Our opportunities for growth are huge, but it's going to be scary, and it's going to be wonderful, and it's going to be fearful, and it's going to be exhilarating. It'll be you that makes the choice in every one of those cases.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just hoping to assist. I'm not trying to convince anybody. That bores me. What I'm hoping to do is I'm hoping that if anybody wants to, or if anybody's afraid, or if anybody needs some reassurance, they don't have to live by it themselves through this. They can follow this, and they can understand it through my eyes, and then they can do with whatever they want to do with it. God bless them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now, after watching this movie,
Yes,
because there's a lot of people who, when you talk about this type of stuff like UFOs, extraterrestrial, that type of stuff, they look at you like you're absolutely crazy.
Sure.
Now, after watching this movie, do you think that's going to change more people's minds?
Well, I think that, Marcus, you ask such good questions.
I'm just brainstorming here.
Let me say this. Changing people's minds. I mean, did the big revelation of those Navy ships and the Tic Tac, did they change people's minds? Maybe some.
Mm-hmm.
But everybody else who knew something else was up, it just confirmed their thoughts.
Yeah.
And then remember, I think it was last summer that there was a big report that came out, from the government, and they couldn't explain some. Did that change some minds? Maybe. There was also a big flood of documents just the other day. Okay, they talked about abduction and about different physical effects on people who had close encounters of the fourth kind. And has it changed much of people's life? I don't know. They're still fighting in Europe. They're still fighting, in Russia.
Mm-hmm.
So here's the thing. What's going to happen is this is going to come to a head. And you're not going to be, this is what my point is that you're not going to be able to deny it. You're not going to be able to hide behind a canon, or you're not going to be able to hide behind some weaselly words that you say in Congress or whatever, or lie about your finances. All that is going to be crap and thrown onto the side, because you're going to be faced with something that is so much larger than any one of us that you have no other choice but to deal with that. So what I hope that it changes is that I hope that it changes people's reaction. I hope that, it's almost like, you remember when you were a little kid and you wanted to go on that big roller coaster, but you were afraid. You were afraid. You didn't want to go. And then you went, and then you said, "Oh, let's do it again." Right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
That experience. Maybe it was deep water, or jumping into the pool, or anything.
See, God made me round, and I like to be down lower. It's my center of gravity. I get on a roller coaster.
What? Round is a shape. Round is a shape, my brother, and mine happens to be pear. So
I'm working on it.
You're in good shape. No, but what I'm hoping it does is I hope it prepares people. I hope enough people see it that what they do is they say, "Oh my, okay, listen, I heard the technical information. There's the Tic Tacs or whatever. I see this stuff and it's happening more and more, or it's been happening all this time, but it's almost like, everybody else, we knew that something was going on, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then the government was like, no, I'm not wearing a green plaid shirt. No, I'm not.
Right.
Yes, you are. No, I'm not. And it's gaslighting us right to our faces. We all knew, and they finally admit it. So I hope it changes people. I hope it changes people's mind. And to be honest with you, Marcus, I hope it changes their heart, because we have a chance here to do the right thing by ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
If these civilizations and entities and intelligences. Let's just say intelligences, okay?
Mhm.
Because I think it has a lot to do with what you good folks do too. There's an intelligence behind those sounds that you hear in the abandoned places. There's an intelligence. There's a fabric to that reality. There's a consciousness to that. If we're able to, number one, overcome our fear because of ignorance and able to engage in that, we can have a much richer relationship with it, understanding it, participating with it, and hopefully coming out with a better outcome for all of us. When we start to realize that we're all one, really, that it doesn't matter who you are, where you went to school, or how tall or how round you are, and that we all matter. When we start to realize that, things are going to change completely. Because, in every religion around the world, they talk about doing to others as you would have to do it. Well, think about that. If you really treated every single person, including people or consciousness that you never understood, if you treat them the way you would like to be treated, things will change.
This is a really good guest. Really good guest, Marcus. Good job.
Right.
I hate to interject, guys. But before I have to leave, I got to get ready for work. John, you said a couple things that I want to hit on before I take off, if you don't mind.
Please.
First of all, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Yes, sir. I've lived. You hide. You're afraid of. Oh, hoorah! Nice, beautiful.
You're only a 2.5 hour drive from me, good sir.
Yes, sir. Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I was born and raised here. I lived around the world. I lived in Germany. I lived in California, New York, and stuff. But this is home, and this is where our company is, and this is where, yeah, absolutely.
Well, I'm from Williamsport area.
Oh,
just south of Williamsport.
Not that far away at all, sir.
So definitely need to be in contact.
How many bars are there between us? We could meet at each one of them.
Start on 80. Just jump on 80 and
start
we'll
on 80.
Meet in the middle. Ooh,
yes, sir.
I like that.
Yes, sir.
I like this guest. Speaking of which, I do want to say I'm really I'm not one for coincidences.
Yes,
all things happen for a reason, and I truly believe that us all meeting today is definitely was made because here's the thing, and I just personally what I do, Marcus, I don't know if Marcus told you, I help multiple teams. I'm not just with Minnesota Spirit Hunters. I work with a bunch of different groups and teams as a consultant in the paranormal field. So I truly want to let you know that if you or anybody else is having any issues and feel like you can't be heard, let us know. Our shows are always welcome. You will always have support. I saw what Mr. Brian John Laverty said about putting your trailer on Parapost. That one too. That was really good too. But if you go to Parapost Network on Facebook, John, feel free to join it and share out anything you'd like. And I know Marcus will probably say it, but I'm going to get to it first. So there's also an app you can use. It's on Android, iOS. It's just called Parapost. You'll see this logo, but in a black and white version.
Yes, sir.
Sign up for it along with everybody else in your network. That's what we're there for. We're there to support each other.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You guys are never alone. You'll never be criticized. You'll never be judged. We believe if you believe it's true, we believe it's true, and we have your back and you have support. So,
thank you, sir.
And if there's anything any of us can do, I mean, especially being here in PA, if you guys need anything, let me know. You're a quick drive.
Sure, brother.
I love Pittsburgh. I love Pittsburgh.
Me too.
Cordanos. Cordanos. I love Cordanos. Right there in downtown.
Yeah.
I wish I knew what y'all were talking about because it sounds nice.
Oh, Cordanos. Nice. If you know Cordanos, you know Cordanos. But the other thing is, I'll definitely, if you don't mind, I'd love to be in touch. because I'd
Please
love
do.
to get you on my show as well, and for
Thank
your
you.
trailer number 1, and also to tell your story.
Well, thank you very, very much. Thank you. I think that maybe, especially you, you might find it interesting. I have a little piece that didn't make the film that talks about the proximity of my birth to the Kecksburg crash and also Mothman, which is really kind of an interesting sort of
which Mothman area, because I know there's at least 3 or 4.
Moundsville, West Virginia.
Okay, because
Yeah,
I know there's some.
the bridge.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yep.
We're going to West Virginia.
If I can actually say, in June, the end of June, early July, we're actually visiting that exact Mothman.
Oh, that's fantastic.
We'll
ought
be
to
there.
get together.
Well, I'll be there.
Together. Yeah.
Absolutely, yes, anytime.
Thank you.
But I do have to get going, folks.
Sure. Be safe, my brother.
Hey, always, you as well. And like I said, please, feel free to reach out, and
you, sir.
I'll be in touch to get you guys scheduled. Minnesota, love you, y'all. Love you, hunters.
Right back at you, man.
And guys at the audience, you guys are awesome. Treat Marcus the same way I do.
Wow. He can't treat me the way he does.
And don't forget, guys, to subscribe to Minnesota, and of course, remind Marcus to plug in his phone.
My phone's charged.
All right, love you guys.
All right, see you later. Funny guy, he thinks.
I always say about people like I said, he's a really nice guy to other people.
To other people, yep. Victor is here. Hello, Victor. Victor is he's a talk show host, great man.
I see.
Also another man who would love to have you on there to share your story. Absolutely.
He's really into Bigfoot story. He wants to know more about where Bigfoot comes from.
Okay.
And like some spots. Last I heard, anyways.
Yeah, I think that old Bigfoot, he is more spiritual than we probably suppose.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely agree with you.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm sorry I interrupted. I apologize.
No, you're good. You're good. Please feel free to open up and let us know anything about your experiences with UFOs, anything paranormal, anything like that.
I'll tell you a story.
Let's hear it.
So so this is before I had that big confession.
Mm-hmm.
I was in Michigan, and I was filming a CE5. Are you guys familiar with CE5? What that is?
Oh yeah.
That's Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind. This is where people get together and literally meditate, open themselves up, and actually ask for visitation of these craft, these entities, these intelligences. Anyway, we hadn't seen anything, and I had a crew there, 5 or 6 of us. We had cameras shooting everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
It was an uneventful night. It was a big flat field, and at the end of the night, I was helping, put all the gear away into the vans. And one of the people came up and said, "Hey, listen, did you guys catch this kind of energy that was coming over here near these trees?" We hadn't seen anything or whatever. And I kind of looked at my crew and kind of gave them the old, wink, like I'm going to go. And, because I don't want to tick anybody off.
Right.
And so they said, "Listen, we're going to go." And it's about 11:30 at night. We're going to go have dinner. There was a diner. And I said, "Okay, listen, I'm not going to be very long. I'll meet you guys in a few minutes." Okay, great.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm walking with this person. And as we walk towards this tree line, it's big and flat, we're talking a little bit about the evening and about the film that I was trying to put together. And just then, we got about 40 yards, it seemed to me, from the tree line. It's pitch black. This beam of light comes out of the middle of the trees,
mm-hmm.
and it hits me in the chest. And I was shocked. I said, "What the hell is it?" And it was kind of amber, and it almost looked like, to be honest with you, you know what spotting deer is, right? Yeah. So, when you blast a deer with a big flashlight. Okay, I thought that I was getting hit by a very strong flashlight.
Mm-hmm.
But it was so clear and when it hit me, I felt this cool sensation. They make that, little joke about when you eat a peppermint patty, you feel the cool air.
Yeah.
That's the way it felt. And I said, what the hell? And I say to the person I'm with, I said, do you see? And they say, yes, calm down. And just then, I see this light come out of the top of the trees, kind of do this squiggle and back down into the trees. And I went, oh my God, did you see that? They said, yes, calm down. And just then, I don't know a better way to explain this, and I know it sounds silly, but you know how you thrum your fingers, you know, like if you're waiting, something like this, you kind of like do this.
Yep.
It almost looked like somebody was doing that on a glass pane in front of the trees, because as they did that, I could see light, like each of the fingertips. And I am losing my mind. I'm saying, oh my God, look at this. And just then, the entire tree line lit up like a Christmas village.
Mm-hmm.
Thousands, hundreds, thousands of these little tiny lights. And I'm not proud of this. I carry a weapon.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I reached for my weapon. I didn't have my weapon with me. But I was at that moment, I was afraid.
Yeah.
Because I thought, this is not only something I don't understand, but I feel like I'm going to be somehow in contact, and I am scared to death.
You had that feeling of being outnumbered, and yeah.
I reached for my gun. I didn't have my gun with me.
Mm-hmm.
And when I looked back up, these lights came out of the trees at me, like kind of this wave. And as they got close to me, they kind of disintegrated all around me.
Wow.
And I felt that cool air. I was in total shock.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I couldn't even talk. I said, I couldn't even finish the sentence. Right? I'm like, did you? Yes. And they kind of turned me around like a little old man, you know, because I could hardly walk. And they're walking me back to the car. They're just taking it easy, asking me if I'm okay. I said, did you see this? I can't believe that this happened. Whatever. Yes. And I sat in my car for a few minutes, my truck, and I realized I should call the guys. And I called them and I said, listen, I'll be right there. I said, you're never going to believe what just happened. They said, well, we already ate dinner and we're back at the hotel. It was 2 hours later. I thought it was 10 or 15 minutes. And so let me say this to you. I really appreciate the work that you guys do. Okay. And what I will say to you is that in my discovery with more and more physicists and PhDs, and scientists, they are of the opinion that we are living in this sort of multiverse where we occupy the same space and time as other intelligences. I won't call them people because that's not what I mean.
Right.
But so these are the things that we bump up into. There are certain places on the earth where our worlds are very thin. And maybe these are the places that you experience and things that you experience. But there are also these things that somehow bleed through or can, because they have the intelligence or the technology to bleed through into our universe. And I think that's what I experienced there. And I came away with the feeling several days later that it was, now remember, I told you this is before my big, confession. I kind of got this feeling that intelligence was telling me something. It was saying, hello, we see you and we know you see us. I'm not saying that those were aliens. That's not what my point is.
Right.
I truly have come to this point of view, and I could be as wrong as anybody else or as right as anybody else. But I think that we're dealing with several different, when I say agencies, I mean just origins. That's what I'm trying to say. I think that, number one, we're dealing with something that has been around here as long as we have or longer. Some sort of intelligence, some sort of thing that has represented itself as pixies or fairies or wood, entities, this sort of thing. And then I think we're also dealing with some of the stuff in the sky. Look, it has to be us. So we have a lot of technology we don't understand. So it has to be us. Some of the stuff. Okay. And then the third one is some of the stuff we have no idea what the hell it is. And it's coming from some other place or some other planet or some other dimension. And then I think the fourth one is that we're dealing with something, and I don't know, I've heard this phrase, it's not mine. It's ultra-terrestrial. Something that we have as a people, as a race, have called angels or demons, that sort of thing. That intelligence that lives in that realm that somehow can pierce this veil and push itself into our dimension and pull it back out. So when we go to examine it, there's no proof, right? And so people say, well, you can't prove that scientifically. Well, of course not, I laugh all the time. I like to ask people when they fight with me about things like that, I always say, okay, well, what's the weather like? They don't understand what I mean. So I ask somebody in California, what's the weather like? And I might be in Ireland, and it's always raining in Ireland, right? And they say, well, it's beautiful and sunny. I say, no, it's not. And you can't prove to me that it's beautiful and sunny. It's raining. Because from my perspective, it's raining. And you must be a liar. You're not a liar. You're telling me exactly what you observe. You're telling me exactly what you're experiencing.
Yep.
I love when I deal with a lot of skeptics. And like I said, it's not my job to convince anybody. But I say to them, I said, do you realize, factually, there are over 300 sightings a day around the world of things that people can't, explain. Now, some of those could be, our craft, whatever. Doesn't matter. There are 300. So think about that. 300 times 5, 1,500, times 30, times 12 months, times how many years you want to go back.
Sorry.
So here's a question. If you as a skeptic are correct, every single one of those have to be explainable. For me to be correct, only one of them has to be unexplainable. Only one. And so, the mathematical odds are that I'm right and you're wrong. And they have a hard time with that. So there's a story for you, Marcus.
Yes.
You guys have any questions?
Well, for one, hearing that story of what happened to you is almost spine chilling, because that's something that you wouldn't experience every day. You wouldn't think it would experience. You wouldn't think you would encounter that, but the fact that you encountered that and that you're able to sit here and talk about it today is mind blowing. I did have a question for you. In your opinion, do you think proof of existence of these aliens and UFOs and everything, do you think that there's gonna be proof one day that they exist?
Well, I'm not trying to be funny with you. Let me ask you a question. What do you mean proof? What do you mean proof? And for example, let's suppose I found proof in my backyard. How does somebody in Zimbabwe know that there's proof?
Very true.
Okay, so if
there's always going to be skeptics,
right? So here's a question. You guys tell me this. For at least 50 years, maybe 100 years, the United States government has lied about the existence of things that they cannot explain. I think that's a fair statement. They came out and they've lied about it. They've lied about it for all kinds of reasons. I'm not going to get into that because I don't know. But they've lied about it. Okay. So was there proof? Well, there was plenty of proof. But you just didn't know about it. And you didn't know about it, and I didn't know about it, and the press didn't know about it, and they probably didn't talk to each other about it. They didn't tell other politicians about it. Okay, so there was proof. So that's why I was saying, I'm not trying to be funny with you. When you say there's proof, you mean outside where everybody knows it, and there's just, how the hell are you going to fight that, right?
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Yes. Disclosure already happened. It happened back in 1952 or 51. I can't remember. It was over the United States Capitol.
Mm-hmm.
There were, over a period of weeks, there were these flying things in formation. We sent up planes to kill them. We couldn't catch them, and they came back. There's disclosure all the time. This is this knock on our door. This knock on our door. This knock on our door.
Mm-hmm.
The proof is everywhere. I told this story the other day. I've been working at RYNO Pictures, RYNO Production, for 12 years.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I drive to and from this place twice every day.
Mm-hmm.
And when I do, I pass this billboard. A couple of years ago, I was at the stop sign looking at this billboard again, just laughing as it was stupid. And I said to my wife, I said, yeah, you know what, this damn thing, this makes me laugh. And I said, you know, I don't know when they put this up. She said, it was put up 8 years ago. I said, you're kidding me. Now, look, I'm a trained observer. I do this for a living. Pictures are important to me, composition, everything else. I pass this every single day, twice. And I missed it for all those years? How is that possible? How is that possible? Okay. So I'm saying to you, there's proof everywhere. All we have to do is calm our minds, and you would see it.
Yes.
It's here. It's all around you.
Yeah, you can't force people to open their minds up to anything. Some people are just dead set in their ways.
Certainly.
They'll always be like people that don't believe you or come up with their own way of explaining it to be normal and not paranormal.
Well, it's based in fear because honestly, if you start to talk about things that you're not in control of, you start to get uneasy. The moment we lose control, this is not a comfortable feeling. And also, think about it this way. I wear glasses sometimes. People wear contacts. People have perfect vision. Okay, so wait a minute. So if you have perfect vision and you can see something, but I need glasses and I don't have my glasses, that means it doesn't exist?
Mm-hmm.
No, I mean, of course it's there. I just can't see it.
Right.
Okay. You know what I mean? So look, if it makes sense to us all to talk about eyesight, and that's just common every day, why is it so confusing when we say some people are more sensitive to things? Why? Have you ever met somebody who's always cold, no matter how warm it is? Okay. Well, are they wrong? No, they're cold.
Mm-hmm.
You happen to be warm. They're more sensitive to temperature. See, all of this stuff, we make it gray. It really is black and white. It really is.
Yes.
That's why I was teasing about the my truth thing. Because, it's my truth that it's hot. It's my truth that it's cold. No. It's 56 degrees. That's the truth.
Mm-hmm.
That's the truth. It's your opinion about the truth is what we get into.
Yep.
And so, do these things exist? 100%.
Yeah.
Some people will always deny it because they're either afraid or they can't see it. And also, do not deny this. There's jealousy out there.
Yes.
People are still people. People have been this way since the beginning of time. We like to think that we're evolved. Guess what? In the very beginning, there were good people and there were bad people. There were liars. There were noble people. There were cheaters. There were people who'd give you the shirt off their back. From the beginning of time until today, it doesn't matter. The words have changed. The language has changed. The technology has changed. People are the same.
Yes.
There are people who look at you and they envy what you do. And they can't do it. And they don't feel it. And they can't be sensitive. And so they hate you for it. And they're not mature enough as a human being or as a soul to recognize that and say, listen, the reason that I'm upset with you is because of this.
Mm-hmm.
So their natural reaction is to make fun of you.
Yep.
Is to deride what you do.
They fear the unknown.
You're like describing high school right now.
Yeah, but guess what? Watch the news. If you watch the news, it's high school with a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much.
A lot of money
Never
and
looked at
guns.
it like that. Oh
A lot of money and guns. If we had billions, in guns in grade school and high school, it would be the same thing.
Oh yeah.
Think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Man, you are a very acknowledgeable man.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I know I'm just an old guy.
Like so many things, like in this past hour that we've had you on here, like you have opened my mind to things that I thought I'd never really open my mind to, you know. So I really appreciate you doing that. That's amazing.
Some great analogies to explain things.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you. It's been a real pleasure, a real honor of mine to sit and talk with nice people.
Absolutely.
Because there aren't tons of nice people here.
Right.
I tease. There's a ton of nice people.
My parents raised me, with a very open mind. I mean, back in the 70s, they had an experience. They were driving back up north because they lived up in the, sticks away from the big cities. And they were driving down the road and they seen two lights up in the sky. And, at first, they thought like plane or something like that. But then they all of a sudden, one would go like this and the other one would go like this, and they'd move all over. And this was back in the 70s. I mean, we didn't have anything that could do that.
Yeah, his dad's passed away now.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
But it's pretty cool.
And I mean, they used to tell me that story all the time, while I was growing up. And I mean, I honestly stop and I think, and there's so much in this world that is unexplained that nobody can explain. It's just one of those things.
We just let it go because we don't want to. We don't want to. We lose our sense. Or, remember when we were all little kids? They used to say, "Oh, God works in mysterious ways," and then that's it. So that's the answer. You don't, No, I mean, it still exists. There's still a reason. There are still things behind it. And so my question is to each and every one of us: you can live in ignorance for the rest of your life. That's your choice, and God bless you. Do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Or you can be possessed to know. And as you saw in the trailer, I need to know.
Mm-hmm.
And there you are.
Absolutely. Love it. Yes. So, at the end of the show today, John, if it's all right with you, for anybody who may have missed it, I'd like to play your trailer again.
Sure.
That way, double chance of people seeing it. And if anybody missed it,
please do. The film comes out, Marcus. I just want to let you know on May 3rd. It will be coming out on Apple TV, Amazon Prime, Google Play, Vimeo, Kino Now, and of course any kind of cable video on demand. You can find it if you just speak into your remote. You'll be able to find it. Alien Abduction Answers.
I did add a comment on here with the list of places that they're available.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you, Karen.
And a link to the. Yep, my brain's working.
Trailer. Sounds like two words.
I am re-pulling the link up here for everybody.
You, Marcus. Thank you. Marcus.
Absolutely. I do want to offer you, John, to feel free to post your trailer wherever you want on any of our platforms. I'm also going to say that Minnesota Spear Hunters is an open door, so feel free to come back whenever you want to.
Thank you, brother.
Just to share new experiences, what's going on.
Working on a new film already. Working on the next film, which is this first film, as I said, takes you from ignorance and fear to understanding. Well, now when you understand something, what do? What comes next?
Right.
And then it takes you into participation.
Yes.
And so that's gonna blow your mind. The next one too. Yeah.
It's gonna be exciting.
Yeah. Thank you again, all of you. I really appreciate you. Such great folks. I thank you for your time on a Saturday. Thank you.
Absolutely. Right back at you. Thank you for coming on. It's been an absolute pleasure, and I may look frozen right now, but I'm just pulling up the link.
Sure.
So, just find that link here. I should probably save that to my computer.
Can you pin it to the comments on the bottom?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep, that would be awesome. So.
Carrie, you look like my little sister. I have a baby sister, and she looks an awful lot like. I keep looking at you like, Rachel, is that you?
Does she have blue hair?
Never that I saw, but
I'm
she
just
was,
joking.
she was a wild child. She could have at some point, maybe. I don't know.
I'm just joking. I got one question for you.
Go right ahead.
So besides that experience and the experience when you were a child, have you ever had any encounters with the idea of spirits or ghosts like encounters, anything like that?
Yes. In fact, what you'll find is this, and I don't know if you know this, but there is an artifact of having a close encounter of the fourth kind. When people interact with entities that are alien, what normally happens, believe it or not, is there are things that happen to them after. Poltergeist activity. They have clairvoyance, clairsentience, clairaudience. They become more spiritual, less religious. They no more fear of death. This sort of thing. Contact with spirits and ghosts and, for lack of a better term, say time travelers or channeling, this sort of thing. Yes, this opens up an entire world. And what I theorize is this, is one of two things. Either the encounter jars you so much out of your three-dimensional self that you literally put on glasses that allow you to see all these things that are existing all the way. And or when these entities, these aliens, travel into our world, they use some sort of technology that bends space and time, that allows us access to where our dead remain and those consciousnesses remain. And so what we do is we catch artifacts of those along that way. Now, I once again, I don't know the answer, but those are my two opinions.
I have a theory, just popped in my head.
Please.
Creates so much energy that
You're on the same track as me. So some people say that poltergeists and a lot of activity are drawn to a lot of energy. So if
big river, moving water.
Yep. So if an encounter happens and you said they're bright energy balls, like so much energy, when they leave, that energy must linger maybe, and that
certainly
draws things towards it.
Sure. I mean, why wouldn't you? Let's suppose you were flying over the earth at night and you saw this big light and it was going like this. Well, of course you'd be attracted to it, and of course you'd want to see what the heck it was. It's just, once again, these things are black and white. You don't have to be a genius to figure this out. It just makes sense. And so that's what these CE5 groups do. They literally, with their mind and their spirit and their heart, they open themselves up and show light, if you will, or that energy, that subtle energy. And then what happens is that these entities recognize this and say, what the heck is this? This is obviously an attempt to communicate. So let us communicate back. And why wouldn't you? If you saw somebody who was waving at you, you'd look around, number one, and say, are you talking to me? And then you might wave back, right? Because it would be normal. And then if there was some sort of ongoing dialogue, well, of course you'd be interested. If you were advanced and scientific, I mean, imagine if you went to the zoo. Here's a silly story. If you go to the zoo and you pass by, I don't know, the monkey cage, and all the monkeys are playing around, but this one monkey stops and stares at you and then plays with its hair and then points at you, you'd say, get out of here, recognizes that I have blue hair, right? And you'd call your husband over, you say, hey, Brandon, take a look at this. And then he looks at Brandon, he goes, because Brandon has no hair, right? Okay. But you would recognize that this animal, this entity, had some sort of intelligence and was communicating with you. So of course you would engage with it. Of course you would.
Yeah.
This is what's happening.
Yes.
Yep.
This is what's happening.
You know, after this, like I'm kind of looking at things at a total different perspective. You know, just kind of open my eyes a little bit more to different things.
I hope. I'm learning every day, and I'm glad more people want to understand and learn too. As I said to you in the very beginning, I'm not here to try to convince anybody of anything. But if I can say, hey, listen, have you ever considered, and it makes people think, I think that's a win.
Absolutely.
It's a win.
Agree.
Well, I'm going to go. God bless you all. Have a wonderful day.
Thanks for coming.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Thank you.
My best to you and yours.
Yes, right back at you, man.
Can't wait for the movie.
Thank you very much. May 3rd.
Yep.
May 3rd.
May 3rd. We'll be watching.
Ciao.
All right. Goodbye.
Bye.
Wow, guys, amazing guest. That's all I can say. Very knowledgeable. Instead of saying acknowledgeable, I meant knowledgeable.
We knew.
No, but
he
John
definitely knows what he's doing.
Oh yeah. Well,
I love the analogies.
The thing is I don't want to put it the wrong way, but nobody has all the facts about anything. Nobody can scientifically prove everything.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the way that what John does, especially with spirits and ghosts, you know, we do spirits and ghosts too. He has a different standpoint and a different point of view on it, and you know, opening our eyes to UFOs and aliens and stuff like that. That's stuff I never even thought about before. I did say I want to expand into UFOs and aliens and Bigfoot and all this, but the way that John makes you see things is, like he said, he's not here to convince anybody, but in the end here, I am feeling a little convinced about some different things, you know, because some things I never really knew about or I never really had interest in looking at, you know, but after talking to John, it's just a whole different point of view now.
Whole new ball game.
Whole new ball game, exactly. So, but guys, this was an absolutely amazing show. And before we wrap up, we are going to play the trailer for Alien Abduction Answers one more time. May 3rd is when you can catch this movie. Like you said, Amazon Prime, Vimeo, lots of other things. And let me find this comment here that Kara posted. You can find it on Apple TV, Amazon, Vudu, Google Play, Vimeo, On Demand, November 3rd, 2022, Pluto, Tubi, Amazon.com, Walmart, Redbox. DVDs are for purchase. So, multiple different ways to watch Alien Abduction Answers. And, you know, just the way he explained the movie of kind of walking through this whole experience with him, that just makes you want to watch it even more, you know, because I feel for the guy. You know, he went through this. I went through a lot of ghost stories myself, ghosts and spirits, you know, so this is something that he's went through, and you can't help but respect what he went through, you know. After watching this movie. What's that?
It's intriguing, like hearing about how it's gonna play out in the movie and stuff like that.
It is. Exactly. So, but guys, link to the trailer for Alien Abduction Answers is in the comments right here. Kara posted it. Right here, you can go on Vimeo.com and view that. John is an absolutely amazing guy, and we definitely would look forward to bringing him back in the future. So, we're going to wrap it up, play his trailer, wrap it up, and we will see you guys next Wednesday for a very special guest. So, Kara and Brandon, you want to hang out after the show?
Sure.
All right, guys. Well, you guys have a good day. And thank you so much for joining this amazing show. All right, guys. Well, great show today on a Saturday morning. Thank you for your time. Everybody who watched, interacted. Let's see, Parapost Network in here. Lots of other people that we already know and some new faces, Emmy, everybody. So thank you to everybody who joined us. We got new people here. Fantastic show, everyone. Thank you. Absolutely. Thank you. And Half-Fern Paranormal. All right, guys. Well, enjoy his trailer of Alien Abductions Answers one more time. You can catch this on Vimeo.com and all the other places. You can catch this movie on May 3rd. All right, we're going to go ahead and play this trailer. After the trailer, we're going to wrap it up. So until Wednesday night, I will see you guys then, but stay safe. I'm almost sounding like Matt here. Stay safe and happy hunting.
This is not communication. It's communion. Hundreds of thousands of people have claimed contact. That will change you. It changed me. Lost in between two worlds and two dreams.
This was something that I kept buried for years. Strange things would happen. I didn't want anything to do with it anymore.
He came at me, and I fought for my life.
Ships started to pop up in the sky.
And there's this bizarre disk of light. It is moving across the sky very fast.
The experience is often very terrifying.
If I felt fear, I would crawl under my covers, hoping that it would go away, whatever it was.
I know that we were put in that craft. I knew I was going to go to another planet.
And the being was right next to my face. He saw two shadow beings. That's when I felt like I was going to die.
I had a real encounter with something. Even if I had to live with the fear, is to know the truth. Is to know.
All right, guys. Well, that was the trailer to Alien Abduction Answers one last time. So until Wednesday, we will see you guys then. Stay safe and happy hunting.
This program is intended for mature audiences. Parental discretion is advised.